So today, here's what I'm hoping will happen. Many of you, have you ever seen this before? What you know that you don't know, and what you do not know that you do not know. So I think, what I'm hoping for, you know what you know. I'm hoping to hit on some of these other areas that you may not even be aware of what's out there, processes. Um, so that I wish I knew 3 years ago. My mom and Harry were living in a condo, 2 stories, bedroom upstairs. And I said, well, first of all, she had to have a knee replacement. So she stayed with Rick and I for like 3 or 4 months while she recovered. Harry had back surgery and scooted up the stairs on his bum, to get up. And I'm like, you guys, let's get you into a single story. No, no, no. We're going to live here forever. The stairs are brutal. No, we need that exercise to go up and down those stairs. Well, Mom, unfortunately, had the early onset of Alzheimer's dementia, ended up with TA, a minor stroke, and had a really bad infection. She was in and out of skilled nursing and urgent care back and forth for about 2.5, 3 months. It was brutal. And the time came where the doctor said, you cannot go home. And she could not even go out and pick the assisted living area. So it's like, you don't know what your future holds. So I always encourage, if you're going to see, I suggest a plan A and plan B. I wish I had taken Mom out and pushed harder for her to go out and look at what her options were. So that I would know what choice she wanted when she couldn't make that decision for her. So the next part is the planning. This is step one. So step one is really tell them I can't take that call right now, okay? So in your folder, Rick told you that we had hoped to have tables because you may want to write and take notes. So we have clipboards there. And you're welcome to take the clipboard if you want, but if you're not going to use it, afterwards leave it. But feel free to go in there and make your notes. So, so creating a plan. Creating a plan is not always easy. It means doing action. It means thinking. It means taking time to think, what is it that I want? So before you have a plan, you have to start with where you are now. So, there's a lot of folks that we meet that say, I am never going to move. Never going to move. I'm going to stay here the rest of my life. That's fine. But probably, well, let's see. How many people are thinking or planning in the room? By a show of hands, how many people are thinking in that stage? Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, maybe thinking a little bit about it. Some of the folks are, I'm ready now. It's like, I'm going to, I know this is what I need to do, and I need to do that now. So just a real quick story on planning. I had a gal that called me, a past client. I had sold some of her investment properties. And she said, Christy, you know what? I'm ready. I want to sell my property. I'm going to Utah. I have friends there. I want to have a single story, look out, see the mountains, and no yard. She was on an acre now. She goes, I'm tired of this. And I said, well, let's get together. So she did not have a computer. She had a flip phone, not a smartphone. And she knew she wanted to go to Salt Lake City, but she couldn't remember where it was. So we got a map. I went to AAA, got a map. We figured out where she was going. And then I got on the computer and we started looking at places. She wanted a place that was near a grocery store, so if she couldn't drive, she could walk. She started thinking, what do I need in the future? And keep in mind, she didn't have a computer. What do you have? We don't have yellow pages these days. It's hard to do research. So we sat down with my computer. I found her a downsizing realtor in Utah and connected her. And we set up 2 different times for her to fly out there, look at places. So I helped her find the hotel. The agent picked her up, brought her to the hotel. She found the place she wanted and then moved forward. While that was happening, we were helping declutter the house and start getting it ready. So it's like that planning. She came in thinking she could do this in 2 months. It ended up taking about 9 months, to go through the process. She took, it was hard for her going through the house, going through her stuff. We all have that stuff, right? So how many of you, just even with me talking about this, are starting to feel overwhelmed? Yeah. So what do we do when the elephant in the room is so darn big? Anyone? Take a... One bite. Exactly, yes. So that's what I am about today, is don't try to do it all. When you leave here, pick a couple things that you're going to go. Otherwise, you're going to be overwhelmed. And then you don't do anything when you're overwhelmed. So one of the questions is, why even downsize? Ask yourself, maybe you do want to stay there. But if you have a reason that you want to do something, then it's easier to make that plan. It's easier to go, okay, this is what I need to do. But identify why. Why? What's the point of going through all this? It's a lot of work. So there's 3 reasons that people primarily why they downsize. So the first one is social engagement. It's been proven that if you stay socially involved, socially and intellectually active, your health is going to be better. You're going to be happier, which brings us to reason number 2, to either stay healthy, or maybe you're making that move already because of some health issue, something that you're foreseeing. Like with my mom, for an example, we knew she had the early onset of Alzheimer's dementia before she had the TA. So it's like we should have pushed her sooner. She had this issue. We knew things were coming. And then the third reason, the house becomes a burden. A lot of us have lived in a home, sometimes raised children. It's bigger than we need. It's like, it's so much work. The yard, how are we going to take care of the yard? The plumbing goes, the roof leaks. It's like owning a home can be overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff. So if we downsize, we take some of that burden away. Whoops, hit that too fast. So why do people leave their homes? Well, this is the difference between what you guys are going. You are on the proactive side. So my mom, she was on the crisis side, right? She didn't make a plan. She had planned to live there the rest of her life. And now all of a sudden she doesn't have that choice. That choice is taken away. So I really, really commend you for being proactive, for planning ahead, to be on the happy side. It's like, make that choice. And if it's not for you, make it for your kids. Because it was really, really hard on me. Not that I didn't love my mom, but it's like it was still really hard to be on the reactive side and have to guess where would she want to be? What stuff do we need to bring? It's like we had to make those choices for her because we weren't proactive on that. So I really can't emphasize enough having a plan A and a plan B. Especially if your plan A is to stay where you are or to move, a lot of people do 2 moves. Like they'll move from a 3,000 square foot home into a little patio home, because they're still very independent. They can do things on their own. And then their next one is maybe we do go to a senior community because the senior communities can offer the socialization, the events, the food. Man, that's huge with Mom. Yeah. Her and Harry, during COVID, I was bringing them a lot of food, but Harry's like, I can cook. Well, I'll tell you, they're eating really well now.
Well, you guys probably don't have
so,
a microphone.
It's like there are a lot of benefits to looking at
We-
the senior communities.
Huh?
And we'll go into more of that later.
I'll
But
love it.
so one of the things, though, I'm going to emphasize this a couple times. This is
Right.
your plan. This is the plan you're making for you. You're not making it for your kids to make your kids happy.
It's probably not a good
This is
idea
your
to do
life.
here.
This is, you have X number of years left. How do you want to spend those? You know, make a plan so that you identify what's important to you. Are you active? You know, do you like to garden? There's a Santiana, a community, newer one. They actually have little garden beds that people can go out and garden. You know, do you have a pet? You know, it's like, where can you have a pet? You know, which of the communities? So it's planning ahead, but remember, it's what's important to you, not to your friends, not to your family. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? So considerations before you make your choices is take a strong look at what your current health situation is. We can't predict the future, but you know currently where you're at. You know, do you have arthritis? I have a bad hip. You know, I have one replaced and the other one has arthritis. And, you know, stairs are tough, you know, so it's like, okay, I know that arthritis is most likely is only going to get worse. Hopefully not, but, you know, there's that chance. So it's like, what are your current health issues? Think about that. You know, what's important? The next one is social interaction. You know, some people are more loners. You know, they don't want to be where there's a lot of activity. You know, but other people, I have to say, Mom's partner, Harry, he's pretty much a loner, but it's amazing. And now that they're in that senior community, he's blossoming. He's actually he's looking forward to going down for dinner, even if Mom's not going down, because he's got friends now. He's doing things. He used to be very, he did marathons a lot and biking. And so he had this huge group of friends that he did these with. And after COVID, he called one of his friends and said, they used to go get bagels. And he said, you know, let's get back together again. And his friend goes, who are you? And, you know, it's like Harry, he was devastated. You know, the guy, after not seeing each other for a few years, his friend could not remember who he was. And, you know, that's happening as we get older. You know, we're losing, I've lost some, excuse me, I'm getting a little emotional, 3 really, really dear friends in the past few years. As we age, our health, things change, you know, and you know, we lose those friends that we have. But this is, you know, it's like there are some places where you can make new friends that you can find. Mom loves to play bingo and do, you know, she's trying to do bridge again, but with her memory, she's having a bit of a problem. But she is starting to go back to activities she liked and meeting other people that like those activities. So that goes under hobbies and interests. I skipped over on transportation. Here's what's cool. So when you get the notification from the doctor that you have the early onset of dementia, Alzheimer's dementia, like my mom, they take away your driver's license then and there. Mom was angry. Let me use that word. She was not a happy camper. She goes, I need a new doctor. They took away my license, and that's not right. I can still drive. Well, she can't. You know, it's like she would be a risk not only to herself, but to others. At the senior communities, there is transportation. They'll take you to your doctor's appointment. If you're independent, you're not in assisted living like my mom, they take you grocery shopping. You know, they go to restaurants. They have events. So it's, you don't need a car. Think of that. One less payment.
They wouldn't turn that down a bit, would they?
What kind of lifestyle do you want? Where you stand financially? That's something that a lot of folks need to look at. You know, a lot of, we've had clients who just are not sure if they can make a change. Well, they have a lot of equity in their home. Thank goodness, you know, our prices have gone up. And when we looked at that and worked with our financial advisor and planned out their future, it's like, wow, it could afford to do this. So that's one of the things. If you don't think you can, do some research. Figure out where you're at. It's like, where is your money? How much, do you have the money that will bring you, to last for as
Okay.
long as you're going to live? If you're going to live to be 100. In fact, we're going to have a seminar on living to be 100,
That's
in
okay.
case
That's
that's one
okay.
of your goals as
Thanks.
far as staying healthy.
Thanks for trying.
It's like you want to plan financially so that the money lasts as long as you do. And so what is necessary to prepare for a future move? Well, it's a lot of planning, isn't it? So on senior living options, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this. I did put a flyer that kind of explains it in there. And I'm thinking maybe, I haven't identified the last 6 months of the year, but I'm thinking I might have like a panel of people that come in and talk about, the senior living options and what their places are like and, what it entails and what all, I touched on some of the benefits, but there's a lot. So one of the things that we're finding in our area, which has not always been true, is it used to be we just had independent senior living communities and that was it. And then you had to go somewhere else for assisted living, somewhere else if you had memory issues. But a lot of them now have all of those. So you can start off in independent and say, like my mom needs help with medication. She needs to be in that assisted. They have, it was hard for her to track when to take what. I mean, the list of medications is large. And so this, being in assisted living is so wonderful. Memory care. One of the things with memory care is you will find that when you go there, they are so much nicer than they used to be. I used to do Love on a Leash and went to memory care places with my dog Bubba. And since then, they make it feel more like home. It's really much nicer than I had remembered. So I'm really glad I've gone to some of them. CCRCs, the Continuing Care Retirement Community. A lot of us know about La Costa Glen here in our area. That's what that is. You give them a large chunk of money, but the good thing about it is they can't kick you out. So, you can start off in independent and progress along. And then there's also, if you are looking to downsize into a patio home, say that you are selling your big home, but you're not ready to go to a senior community. You want to buy like a little townhome that's a single story or a patio home. Next month, we're going to be talking about Prop 19. And so if you know anybody in this situation that is looking to go from a big house to a smaller, this is moving your tax basis from what you're paying on your existing one to the next one. So we'll go into more of that. But it can be a maze out there. It's crazy. There's so many options, but it's like, how do you find them? Well, it's a step at a time. Remember that elephant. You just take, and one of my friends is in here, and I've been going around with her to some of the senior communities. And it's like, it's amazing how different they are. So you do want to go to all the different ones, because there's going to be one that you walk in and go, whew, this feels like home. And it's like, and then you're really comfortable in it. So before you plan, think about where you want to be 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, because you kind of want to start with the end in mind, right? Have you heard that before? It's like, okay, here's maybe you're saying in your mind worst case scenario. Okay, that could be your plan B, or maybe you start off at one of these places that you can progress into a different one. So really have that plan A, have that plan B. So communicating with your family and friends, this can be challenging. If you have kids, they probably have an idea of what they want you to do. And it may not be what you want to do. So what I suggest is decide what you want first and then talk to the kids. Because if you go to them and say, I think I might need to downsize, what do you think? Well, come in where I am, Mom. And, it's like, you may not want to be there. You may want to stay here where It's like, plan first. Think about what it is you want. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be living? What do you want that to look like? And then go to your kids and then say, this is being proactive. This is taking control of your life. This is where I want to be. So it's about establishing expectations, your expectations, not their expectations. So take that time and get the information that you need. So once you have got your plan together, you've gotten it, I suggest, written out, that you go and then you share it with them. And you say, like it says where you want to live and your professional service providers. So we had this client, this was before Rick and I really started really started learning about how to help seniors. We had a client who said, come on over, I want to talk to you. When I die, I want you to be our realtor. And I want you to meet my son. And we went over, and he's got this notebook. And in his notebook, he's got a list of all the passwords, right? For the computer, for the phone, for the safe, all the different ones. He's got a list of all his financial accounts, bank accounts, all the different 401, everything, life insurance, whatever he's got, had that listed. Then he had a list of all the people that he's been working with over the years, and like his financial advisor. So his son came out, and he took his son around to all of those people and said, when I die, my son's going to be the executor, and you're going to have to work with him. And so I want you to know each other, because maybe his son can't come back out. He lives on the East Coast. He might not be able to come out at that time. He wanted people here to work with his son long distance and know who those people were. So, I was amazed. I'm like, wow, what a great idea. I'd never heard of this before. Now, I'm starting, after getting these certifications, I'm learning, this is a good thing to do. But he was like way ahead of where I was at. So I was like, his son, think how easy it is for the kids or the people you leave behind, friends, if you have that all outlined. He even had, where he wants to be buried and how, and, all the different things that a person would have to go through. So create your written document, and then, like he did, call the son in and say, here's my plan. This is what you're going to do. So one of the things in the package that I have there, you'll find that a sample letter, that you could use. But recently, I have found out about the Conversation Project. And I went online. I just wanted to show you. This is pretty cool. So they have lots of different things, but you can download this. And it's all free. And it's got like questions to ask you and things to fill out. And you can find this it's called theconversationproject.org. And they have all different things, different guides, how to talk to your kids or people. So anyway, these are some of them, like the healthcare proxy. Like one of the things Mom and Harry hadn't thought of. Luckily, we took care of this beforehand. They're not married, but a lot of times if you're not married to a partner or a friend and you're in the hospital, they can't come visit you unless it's you have it in writing. So that's really important that you have that in writing. So Mom has in writing that Harry can come in at any time. But you have to meet with an attorney. You have to get things in writing. So surrounding yourself with professionals. So the website, theconversationproject.org. Yeah, it's pretty darn incredible. So all of us need help at some time. But as we age, we need more help. We need that. Yeah, that's okay. Um, we need, like, just recently, Rick and I were cleaning out the garage. You don't know how nervous I was having him climb up on that ladder and get that stuff down. You know, it's like there's things that we shouldn't be doing as we get older that we could easily do when we were younger. It was easy. You know, we need help. We need help with that. We need help with a lot of things. And a lot of us are, I can do it myself. I don't need help. but, you know, take a deep breath. Look at, you know, it's like how people can make the process easier. So I just wanted to bring that elephant back in the room because I had a feeling around now with everything we're going through that we might be feeling even more overwhelmed about all the things that we need to do. And one of the things is there is a lot to do when we're in the process of downsizing. And what happens a lot, and I wonder if anyone here has gone through this. You go in, you're like, okay, yes, I'm going to do this today. I'll start with that closet. And you walk in and you look at the closet, I'll do that tomorrow. Heck, just the other day, I opened up my sock drawer and I'm like, oh my God, how many socks in here that I never wear? You know, so it's like, pick one thing. I invite you today to pick one area. You know, start little. I'm going to start with my sock drawer. You know, it's like, start with something that is a sizable, small enough that you're not going to get frozen up. Not doing something. Okay, so where do you start? So the best way to start is finding people that you can help you, professionals. There are now move managers that will come in and help you as far as packing and help you through the process of, you know, we used a move manager for Mom because they have so many things and you're moving into this small area. And how much of that's going to fit? Mom wanted everything, you know, just move it all over. But, you know, she's a pack rat and had a lot of stuff. So it's like, okay, you can't move both beds. You only have a one bedroom. You know, and which bed are we going to take? Which dressers? You know, it's like, what will fit in the living room? You can't have, you know, the big dining room. How about having a small dining room table? You know, so the move managers can help with that. There's liquidation services. So, you know, don't be afraid to ask for help. And it's out there. So these, one of the things that I suggest is you may have a realtor you work with, call them. As real estate agents, we have all these different people in our pocket. You know, it's like we're used to having a home inspector come out, you know, and check your home out if you need to before you end up selling to make sure it's okay. Roofing companies, if there's a leak, you know, are you going to sell your house as is or do you want that roof fixed? And I have clients in the past, you know, that they still call me. Christy, who's the roofing company that you recommend? So your real estate agent will have contacts to help you. So I don't know how many of your houses look that bad. My garage did. My garage was pretty bad. It's a lot better. We've after Rick got all that stuff down. I have to say that it was pretty interesting. We had to, we were re-roofing and we had to take everything and put it in the middle of the garage. So as we're doing that, getting rid of a lot of it. We had stuff in there that I couldn't even remember us putting it up there. We had camping stuff from, you know, I haven't camped in 20 years, but I originally put that in the save pile and we put a tarp over it, and then and I was determined to only put things back on the shelf. I didn't want it in the rafters. I didn't want Rick to have to climb up there again. I'd like to say that was successful. It wasn't. We still have a few things up there. But it was interesting for me that as we put things in the middle, I got rid of probably a quarter or a third. I got rid of a lot. I was really proud of myself. But then when we were going back through it again to put on the shelf, like, Rick, do we really need this camping stuff? What are the chances at this age that we would go camping? I'm not going to go camping unless there's a shower there, and heat. So, it's like getting rid of that. So it was interesting to me that we first thought we got rid of a lot, and then we went through a second time and got rid of even more. So, that's an idea of something to do. It's like, say you're going to tackle your closet. I'm going to get that organized. Taking it out, knowing you're going to, donate or, possibly try to sell it on eBay. I don't know. I wouldn't. It's confusing for me. But then when you're putting it back in your closet or your packing, do I really need this? Is this something I will use? Why am I keeping this? It's like, question yourself on that. I who has a spouse that keeps everything. When I first met Rick, he kept a lot of stuff. I got in a lot of trouble. And I'm pretty good about getting rid of stuff, but not an expert. But I came across his football, deflated. Put it in the donation pile or trash pile. It's like, what are you doing with that football? That was my football, my touchdown in high school. I can't get rid of that. Well, a few years later, he did get rid of that football. But, it's like, it's hard to get rid of things because we have an emotional attachment to it. And, but how many here are keeping your stuff and it's keeping you from making the change in life that you would like to make? You don't have to raise your hand, but think about that. How many people, it's like, no, they would like to make that change. They want to downsize, but it's so much stuff, so overwhelming. And it's actually kind of a hazard to your health and your life. It's because you're not taking on making those changes and sorting through it. Whoops. No, I got it there. So this is step 4 is really the hardest part for a lot of us, to get rid of that stuff. To decide what's important. It's like, what are you going to keep? I know in our kitchen, we have so much stuff we don't need. We actually got rid of a lot of cookbooks a long time ago because we have the internet, but we still have 2 big shelves of it. And we probably put it in there 2 or 3 years ago, and I think maybe we've got 1 or 2 times that we've gone there to look at it. It's like, how much are we keeping that we don't need to? So some of it's family heirlooms, and I have to bring this up. And maybe a lot of you already are aware of this. The kids these days don't want your stuff. They don't. And, we had a client that downsized from a 3,000 square foot home. I know this doesn't sound like downsizing. Downsized from a 3,000 square foot home to about a 2,500 square foot home. But it was a big downsize for them. They had too big of a yard. They had steps, and so but even though they still got a big place, they still have stuff in storage. They are having a very difficult time letting go. It's those memories that we have. She bought dishes in Italy and, this from France. And the kids don't want it, but she's having an emotional, hard time letting it go. And so just when you're asking your kids, be kind. Don't push it on them. They don't want it. It's not fair. And a lot of stuff, disposable, maybe we've got some pants, the elastics like stretched out. Don't donate it. It's all right. Somebody's not going to want it if it's really worn. So, we're disposing of things. There's so many places that we can donate things. Claudia, did I have that out on there for people to pick up about the charitable donation places? So there's a lot of them, and I invite you, if you guys know of places that should be on that list, let me know. Because one of the move managers that we use, She helps, works with foster kids that are leaving the foster community or their house and going out on their own. They, they need that furniture. And so she helps place, it. And there's a lot of different places like that would love your sofa, would love to have the things, that even if it's a little worn, it's better than nothing. These kids don't have anything, and there are lots of places to donate. Um, and then the valuables. So here's one of the things that we found is a lot of people think, first of all, they think their stuff's more valuable than it is. But also the estate places, and a lot of them got so much during COVID that they stopped taking it. And it's like, if you're going to try to get somebody to do an estate sale, start early. They're booked way out. There's fewer of them than there used to be. And even on the donations, on that, start early too. Because a lot of those are, Goodwill used to always come and pick up stuff very easily. But often they can't do it for weeks, months out. So keep that in mind. If you don't want to be in the situation where urgently you need to get rid of it, know ahead of time and start planning ahead. So start small. I said that before, but that's really important. Start very small. Figure out, like a closet, some area. Don't say, oh, next Saturday I'm going to go and declutter this whole house. I'm going to get it. Because first of all, when you're exhausted, you can't make good choices. And it really becomes very overwhelming. So be kind to yourself. Just pick one small area to start with. And go through it. So this is something that we just recently heard this year. Decision fatigue. It's a real syndrome. There's actually papers written on it. I had no idea. But once I heard about this, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so true. When you have so many options, too many decisions to make, it's exhausting. And as you're sorting through all your stuff, each thing you pick up, it's like, what am I going to do with it? Okay, it goes here. What am I going to do with it? After like 20 times, you're like, oh my God. Because not only are you deciding, you're also going through how you got that. My sister gave me that. I can't part with that. Oh, well, am I really going to use it? So it takes longer than you think it's going to, but know that what you're feeling is real. It's not made up. It's, pay attention that you're doing this, because here's what happens. If you start getting too tired and you get impulsive, you're going to make really bad decisions, because maybe it's forget it. I'm just going to donate this. I'll donate this. I'll donate this. And then a week later you go, what did I do with that? I don't remember what I did with that. I really wanted that. I hope I didn't do that. So pay attention to where you're at physically, mentally. Remember to take breaks if you're doing it for longer than an hour. Get a drink of water. Some of us forget we should be drinking water or eating a sandwich. So this we kind of all went through already, but it's hard because of the sentiments. One of the things here's what's interesting is how many of us keep things in the house that you have not used in years and you probably never will use again. Is there very many people like that? Yeah. I'm surprised. Like when I went through the garage, it's like, I had no idea we even had that. Or here's another one. How many of you had kids and you're still keeping their stuff because they didn't want to take it with them? Right? It's like, oh, that's Steve's room. Yeah, we still have, his high school stuff, his kindergarten drawings. So ask them, when you're sharing things with them that you've made these plans, we have all that stuff in your room and I'm not taking it with me. If you want it, come and go through it and take what you want, because we need to get rid of what's left. You know, and that's a hard thing because you've been holding on to it for them. But you can't take everything with you when you're downsizing. So here's, I say celebrate your new lifestyle. But one of the things that I've learned is sometimes it's not a celebration. I look at Mom's partner, Harry. He's pretty negative to start with. But, and you know, he gets in there, and every day I was getting calls, oh, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. You know, it's like blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so it's a change. Change is hard, right? Who thinks change is easy? Is it, you know, it's not easy. It's different. It's uncomfortable. It's not what we're used to. It's, you know, it's going to be, the name of the course after we did it and after I was putting this presentation together, Downsizing Made Easy, it's not easy. It's easier. It's easier if you have a plan. It's easier if you looked at what your options are. It's easier if you started the decluttering process early. So if you do these things, it's not easy. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to take work. You know, it's going to take action on your part to do those. And so one of the things I can share with you, with seeing what happened with Mom and Harry, they are happier now. Even Harry's happier now. Who would have thought Harry could be happy? But he's happier now. He's got friends. You know, here's a funny thing. So when we're going through Mom's stuff, Mom's like, you know, Christy, make sure you bring over that little vacuum. You know, I don't want that donated. Harry's like, Irene, they come in here and clean once a week for us. We don't have to clean anymore. They come in and clean. So yeah, you know, be aware of your feelings, honor your feelings. You know, it's no going in. It's going to be a little harder, but in the end, I do think that you will be happier. And, you know, everyone's a little different. Everyone's going to go through different emotions through this process. And ask for help. Ask for help if you need it. So here's the 3 things that I want you to think about. Keep your optimism up. Even when it's stressful and hard and you're feeling overwhelmed, remember where at the beginning we said, why are we doing this? Keep that why in front of your mind, because that will help you go through the different steps that you need to. Support network. A lot of times we have friends that will come over and help. I know if one of my friends calls and said, you know, will you help me? You know, I'm going to go through. And in fact, recently one of them just said, you know, it's like, as I go through my closet, could you come over and help me? Because they know I am good at, do you really need this? So maybe you have some friends that you can call to do that, or family members. You know, it's like, don't try to do it yourself. And then also the level of activity. The level of activity is there for 2 reasons. One, honoring, you know, when you're decluttering, to honor how much activity, but also when you are looking at where you're going to go, how much do you want to do? What, you know, what activities do you want to do? So, you know, at some senior communities, they have like a really big full-size gym. Others might just have a bike, you know, and that's it. So depending, you know, look at what activities you want. What's going to make you happy? You know, do you like bingo? Do you want to be in a book club? You know, what activities? Because if you pick the right place that you're going to go in the future, you're going to have the activities you like if you've chosen the right place. So just to recap, starting, we're going to start with a plan, right? That's the hardest, one of the hardest things. It's all hard, but it's going to make it easier if you put that plan in place. Take time, put it in writing, and then tell people about it. You know, one of the things is when you commit, I forget how the saying goes, the universe, brings it to you. There's an actual saying, but that's my way of saying it, is put it out there and it will start to happen. But you have to say, yes, this is what I want to do. So communicate it with your family and friends. Let them know this is my plan. This is what I want to have happen. And I hope you will support me in this. And, ask for it. But take that control. Know that it's for you. Surround yourself with professionals. And then dealing with a house full of possessions. I know that's probably one of the places most people get tied up. In March, come here, we're going to be doing decluttering. And I'm going to get some professionals and have a panel to help us through that process and have even more ideas. And then creating your new lifestyle.